and welcome again to another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about iframes. Okay, but first remember to subscribe to my channel and make sure to hit the thumbs up if you like this video. So let's get started. Okay everybody, so to start with iframes, I'm going to be using the same resource that we have been using so far, which is W3 Schools. Then you're going to go here to the HTML iframe side. Now, let me explain you what is an iframe and what can you do with it. So an iframe, as you can see here, is used to display a web within a web page. Okay, so you're going to be able to show a website inside of the website that you already created. So what we're going to do right now is use the same code and the same website that we have been working with so far. So let me just open that website right here, which is my first web page. And let's go ahead and open the source code in here. So the first thing that you want to do to create an iframe in here is going to be knowing which is the syntax and what's the tag that you're going to use for iframe. So the tag is very simple. It's iframe, as you can see here. And this specifies an inline frame, which is going to be a website displayed inside of your website. Okay, so what we want to do to create an iframe is use iframe, then a source, which is going to include the URL of that other web page, and optional, a title, which is going to be the description of that web page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just input the other website. Now we are going to be working, the other website that we want to put into our site is going to be Wikipedia. Okay, and here in our website, the last part that we were working with, as you can see, is the tables, which is in yesterday's chapter. If you can go, if you want, I'm going to leave the link of the previous chapter in this video in the description of the video. Okay, so with iframes here, the first thing we have to do is use the iframe tag. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's go to our code and we're going to input iframe. And by the way, as I said before, this is the same code that we have been using so far in this course. So we're going to use the iframe tag. Now we have to use a source, which is going to be the link of the new website, which I'm going to use Wikipedia in this case. Okay, and then it says here we can add a title. I'm not going to add a title, I'm just going to include the source, okay, because I don't want to add any type of description. That's really optional. So once I do that, I close my iframe tag. As you can see, it'll look like this, and then the closing tag for iframe. If you don't input a closing tag, it still will work, but I prefer to always add a closing tag. So, okay, let's hit save, and let me show you what does this do in our website. So right now we're going to hit refresh, and boom, there you go. So this is an iframe. Wikipedia is now inside of our website, as you can see. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so let's move on. Now I'm going to show you two attributes that is going to change the window size. Those two attributes are going to be height and width. With those two attributes, you can change how tall your little window, this tiny window is, and you can also change the width of it. So let's just make it bigger and taller, okay? Let's go back to our source code, and we're going to use those two attributes. After the source, now what we have to do is use the first attribute, which is going to be the height, and let's go ahead and let's use a height of 500. The 500 is the size of the height in pixels, just so you know. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you what does the height does. Take a look at our little square right now. Now let's refresh, and boom, you see now it's large. Okay, now let's go ahead and add the width. In order to add the width, you use the width attribute, and let's go ahead and let's make it 1000. So twice as the height, okay? And as well, the size is still in pixels. So let's just hit save and let's hit refresh. And boom, there you go. Now Wikipedia, it's taller. We have a big window for Wikipedia. One more thing I want to teach you today with iframes. We can do styling on iframe, and we can make it look cute, but I'm not going to go into styles because, as you all know, I am also going to create a CSS course, and I'm going to be explaining styling and much more in that course. So the last thing that I want to show you in iframe is not going to be that, and it's actually just going to be how to add a small tiny link right below this iframe, so that when the user clicks on it, the iframe refreshes and it goes to another website. So the other website that I am going to use for that is going to be my website, which is AskLixi.com. And my website is not finished, guys. I have another project that I'm going to be working on very soon with you. That's why I haven't finished this website. I just did a goofy website, to be quite frankly. It looks hideous, but I don't care. I mean, this was just to buy my domain, and that's it. So I'm just going to use this website as an example inside of the iframe. Now, to do that, let's just go ahead and let's go to the target link section. Here is the document and how you can do it in W3 Schools. So for us to link another website inside of the same iframe, then we have to use the target attribute and we have to use the name attribute. The name attribute, what's going to do is that it's going to give a name to the first iframe that we created, so that when we click on the other link, it calls that iframe name, and then it goes to the new website. So let me stop talking and let me show you exactly how does this look like in our code. Okay, so to do this, we're going to give a name right after the with. We're going to name our iframe. And I am going to call it, you can call it whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to call it my first iframe. My first iframe, okay? And I'm going to save this. Now I am going to input a link. Now I already showed you guys how to add a link. If you don't know how to add a link, you can go ahead and watch my images and link, how to add images and link into your HTML site. You can go to that chapter. Feel free to visit my channel and you'll find it there. So let's go ahead and add a link here. But before I add a link, I want to add a paragraph actually. So you can also find that, by the way, in my previous chapter. So let's go ahead and add a paragraph, and then let's put into this paragraph, here is another example of iframe, okay? And I'm going to add now the link. So let's add the link using the A tag and then href, and then I'm going to put here my new website, which is this one, AskLixi. There you go. Now inside of our A tag, what we want to do is also include the other attribute. Let's go back here. The other attribute will be target. We already named our first iframe. Now we want to call that name with the target attribute. So let's go ahead and let's put target here. Okay, let's use a target, and this target is going to call this name, which is my first iframe. So what I'm going to do is input here my first iframe, which is the name that we gave to the iframe, okay? So that when we click on it, it will refresh the same iframe. Okay, so now let's close our A tag, and let's name this link. Click here to go to AskLixi. And I'm going to save this information. Okay, so now let's go back to our website and let's see what did we do. Now, right below the iframe, we don't see any type of information right now. This is the bottom, so now let's hit refresh. And now if we scroll a little bit down, we have a paragraph here saying here is another example of iframe. Click here to go to AskLixi. So when we click in this link, this if we did it right, it should refresh and it should load my web page inside of our same web page, which is this one right here. So let's click, and boom, there you go. So now we have AskLixi website. Okay, and if you can see, we are still in our same website. It's just refreshing the iframe. So let's refresh again the whole website, and it's going to take me back to Wikipedia because that's where the beginning iframe will start. And then when we click on the link, it's going to go to my website. Pretty cool. So I hope that you like this tutorial. If you have any questions, if you feel confused, if you have doubts, don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comment section below. I am always checking them out and I reply as soon as I can. Okay, so that's it for today, everybody. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Remember, you can always ask Lixi. Bye everyone, see you again in the next episode.